What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer, and you've probably heard by now, but Samsung just announced their brand new lineup for the Galaxy S line. And instead of going with the S11, let me introduce you to the S20, S20 Plus, and S20 Ultra. Now, a little bit of a missed opportunity. Samsung should have went with the S20. Let's talk about these devices. So we've got the S20, which is the direct upgrade to the S10, and this is the smallest of the trio. This one comes in at about 6.2 inches, feels really comfortable in the hand. It's got that Infinity O display. The S20 Plus comes in at about 6.7 inches, and the S20 Ultra is 6.9 inches. That's a really big display. I really thought it'd be uncomfortable, but my first impressions are that it's not that bad. I was able to maneuver the device with no problem, so definitely don't write it off if you're a little weary of big devices. But overall, the design is pretty similar to what we saw with previous devices. We're in a place now where smartphone manufacturers aren't really getting crazy with the design changes. The only real change that you'll see is that front-facing camera is no longer pushed over to the right. It's now dead in the center, like we saw with the Galaxy Note 10. And in terms of colors, we're looking at some pretty standard colors here for this lineup. We're looking at a cloud blue, cloud pink, cosmic gray, and cosmic black. Cosmic gray kind of has my attention. I think that one is the overall best looking one. I'm not trying to deal with the fingerprints of the black. So design wise, you're not gonna see anything too crazy here. They're all still very good looking devices, but I know all of you guys wanna know about the specs. But what's nice is across all three devices, you're gonna get a Snapdragon 865 processor, which is the latest and greatest, which is nice because no matter how much you're spending, if you don't want the most expensive one, you're gonna still get similar performance across the board. You'll also get 12 gigs of RAM across all of them, and with the Ultra, you can even opt for 16 gigs, which is, we're talking computer levels. They also all start with 128 gigs of storage, and with the Plus and the Ultra, you can get up to 512. And they all support micro SD cards, thankfully, up to 1 terabyte. Now, something that is finally on these devices is 120 hertz refresh rate. So what that means to the average consumer is that you're going to get a much smoother looking screen as you swipe through it and do different things. Now, the only drawback is that you have to use this in full HD, so no quad HD with this. So that means you're not gonna get that higher resolution, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, you're not gonna notice a big difference in resolution anyway, so I don't think that's a huge drawback at all. If I had to choose between the two, I would definitely go with the 120 hertz refresh rate. Now, you're not gonna really be able to see how different it is through this video, so I highly recommend going into a store, anywhere you can get your hands on the actual device. Make sure that feature is on and just scroll around, guys. You're gonna see that it just feels so much smoother, and I am so happy that that feature is hitting really mainstream devices. This is gonna be something that changes the game, and many devices after this will follow, trust me. Now, an area that's pretty exciting for me is the battery life. So the S20 will get 4,000 milliamp hours, the Plus will get 4,500, and the Ultra is getting 5,000 milliamp hours, which I really hope has extreme battery life. I'm excited to see that 5,000 number on the S20 Ultra. I can't wait to test that out. They all support quick charging. I think they come with 25-watt chargers inside of the box across the board, but the S20 Ultra supports up to 45 watts. So if you want some real fast charging, that guy's gonna have it, which makes sense because you have a much bigger battery there. So you guys already know, we're gonna be testing out that battery life in a real day in the life. If you're pumped for that, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Now, another cool feature that Samsung mentioned is called Music Share. Now, let's say you have your phone and you're with your friends in a car and your phone is connected to the Bluetooth. If somebody else wants to share some music to the car, have everyone listen, past the aux cord, that isn't a thing anymore. Instead of having to unpair your phone from your car and have somebody else pair it, they can pretty much just pair up to your phone and have it play music through there. So that's gonna be interesting and taking out the hassle of having to mess around with the car. That is something that could just save a bit of a headache. Now, the absolute biggest change is the camera, but before we jump into that, because that's a whole thing in itself, I do wanna mention that all three of these devices also have 5G support. So 5G is emerging in many markets now. It is coming, it is real. That's coming across all of the devices, even if you go with the regular S20, S20 Ultra, doesn't matter. I think that's really cool. And I cannot wait to start testing out 5G. once it hits where I live. And the last few things I want to mention is that they all have IP68 water resistance, as well as a built-in fingerprint scanner in the screen and facial recognition, all the stuff you come to expect. But let's get to the camera. And you guys can see for yourself all of the specs of the cameras right here. And there's just a few numbers here that really stand out. So with the S20, you have a triple camera system, while with the Plus and the Ultra, you have a quadruple camera system. The extra camera being depth sensors on the other two. Now what kind of pops out here are those 64 megapixels on the telephoto lens on the S20 and S20 Plus. But when it comes to the S20 Ultra, we're looking at 108 megapixels on the wide, 48 on the telephoto, even 40 on the front facing. Like, Samsung, they threw all their camera tech into the Ultra, and that is definitely going to be a beastly camera, at least on paper it is. Now, megapixels don't automatically mean quality, but we know how Samsung has done in the past when it comes to the cameras. So I'm expecting a lot from this camera right here. Now, something Samsung really focused on a lot in these cameras is the ability to zoom. So these all have hybrid optic zooms, and just in layman's terms, guys, you're gonna be able to zoom in quite a bit with these cameras. So you can get up to 30 times zoom with the S20 and S20 Plus, and 100 times zoom with the S20 Ultra. And I'm skeptical about 100 times zoom with almost any smartphone, but I tried it out in person, guys, and it was mind-blowing. Samsung does a really good job at cleaning up the image after you shoot it if you zoom in that much. So it looks really impressive for now. Taking a picture of a globe that was pretty far away and still being able to read the words on the actual photo and not having it be a blurry mess, it's impressive. It's really impressive. Now, one of the features that Samsung introduced with these new cameras is called single take. You pretty much press one button and it captures content for about 10 seconds, and it gives you a collage of all different kinds of media files. So you'll get photos, videos, slow motion videos, all kinds of stuff. And it's kind of cool that the phone is able to process all that at once. If you don't really know what you want to capture in the moment, like you don't know if you should take a picture of something or a video instead, this is gonna be that feature that really gets the job done for you. From what we've seen so far, it does a pretty good job. But one thing that I've learned during my first impressions and hands-on with it is that you're not gonna wanna just sit there and just tap it. It's most dynamic when you're moving around with it so that you can get all kinds of angles and shots. That's how it was explained to me while I had my time with it. But it's gonna be interesting to test that out in person. If you're not someone who really thinks about, oh, this should be a portrait mode shot, or this should be this kind of shot, use this feature and you might be surprised at what you get. And what's pretty interesting is that the S20 Ultra has this new technology that Samsung has developed called a folded zoom lens. And the lens is pretty much sitting sideways with this prism reflecting light on it so that it has larger zoom capabilities. There's new technology here that Samsung has been working on, and it is just gonna be really interesting to try out this whole space zoom that they've come up with. I really can't wait. Now you're probably wondering, when are these gonna drop? Pre-orders start February 14th and they'll be in stores on March 6th. Now let's talk about pricing. The S20 is gonna start at $999.99, $1,000. The S20 Plus is going to start at $1199.99, $1,200. And the S20 Ultra is going to start at $1399.99, $1,400. So those are the starting prices. I am very curious what you guys think of those. That S20 Plus, that S20 Ultra is no joke. And I can't forget to mention something else I got to see there was the Galaxy Buds Plus. Now the Galaxy Buds Plus, they don't look super different. I think the design has changed a little bit in terms of the coating used on the front. The overall color looks a bit different. They also have 11 hours of battery life now and another 11 with the charging case. And they've also improved the mic quality, they say. So if you guys want to see a video of the Galaxy Buds, let me know with a comment down below. I'm definitely interested in trying those out. But that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Let me know what you think of the new S20 lineup. It should be a really fun one. That S20 Ultra is the one that has my attention, but $1,400. I don't know how many of you guys are even looking at that. S20 content is definitely happening. You know I gotta put them through a real day in the life. But till the next video, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be the cool guy or girl that gives it a thumbs up. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace.